Welcome to another AP Human Geography topic walkthrough, brought to you by Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is here to help you fill out your lecture notes, understand the big ideas, and maybe even laugh once or twice. So grab your notes and let's get started.
All right, AP Geo Squad, today we're diving into population drama, 1700s edition. Meet Thomas Malthus, an English economist who basically looked at population growth and said, yeah, this isn't going to end well. He lived during the Industrial Revolution when life expectancy was rising, death rates were dropping, and cities were popping off like never before. But while everyone else was celebrating progress, Malthus was out here doing math, and what he found was kinda grim. He believed that population grows faster than food supply, meaning at some point, humanity's gonna hit a point of crisis where there's too many mouths to feed and not enough resources to go around. So yeah, grab your snacks and your notes, because today's topic, Malthusian theory, is all about what happens when population grows faster than the food supply and hunger starts catching up. All right, let's get into it. In this lesson, we're tackling one of the biggest questions in human geography, how populations grow and decline. We'll explore the Malthusian theory, an idea that tried to predict what happens when the number of people grows faster than the food we can produce. And don't worry, we'll also look at the people who said, nah, Malthus got it wrong. By the end, you'll understand how this theory shaped the way we think about population change and its real-world consequences. Let's meet the man behind the theory, Thomas Malthus. He lived in England during the 1700s, right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, when life expectancy was going up and death rates were going down. Malthus looked around and thought, uh-oh. If people keep living longer and having more babies, we're going to run out of resources. He published his big idea in 1798, called An Essay on the Principles of Population Growth. He introduced the idea of carrying capacity, basically, how many people a place can support without wrecking the environment. In other words, it's the geographer's version of saying, yo, this place is getting way too crowded. The image here shows that once the population starts spilling over that limit, problems like starvation and disease start to kick in. So here's the heart of Malthus's theory. This graph shows what he was worried about. Malthus believed that population grows exponentially, like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, basically doubling over time. But food production? That only increases linearly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At first, things are fine, there's enough food to go around. But then we hit what he called the point of crisis, right here where the two lines cross. That's when population outpaces food supply and boom, famine, war, and disease kick in to bring balance back. In Malthus's eyes, nature was like, ye all overdid it, time for a reset. Kind of a grim outlook, but this idea really shaped how people started thinking about population and resources. All right, here's what Malthus was really saying, and honestly, it's giving serious Thanos vibes. Malthus claimed that population grows exponentially, like 2, 4, 8, 16, while food supply only increases arithmetically, meaning step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, basically people multiply way faster than farms can keep up. And when that happens, boom, famine, starvation, and chaos. According to Malthus, it's not a matter of if this happens, but when. So yeah, when he saw population booming, he was basically like, the universe is finite, its resources finite. Total Thanos moment. So, turns out Malthus was kind of dramatic and a little too pessimistic. His whole "we're doomed to starve" prediction didn't really age well. Here's why. First, population growth slowed down thanks to contraceptives and the education and empowerment of women. Basically, when people have more opportunities, they tend to have fewer kids. Second, farming leveled up like, seriously. Mechanized farming, hybrid seeds, and chemical fertilizers made it possible to grow way more food than Malthus ever imagined. So while Malthus thought we'd hit a point of crisis, modern technology and social change said, nah, we're good. Malthus definitely didn't see this coming. Technology totally changed the game. With better transportation, food could now travel long distances without spoiling, reaching way more people. Then came refrigeration, not just in homes, but in trucks and rail cars, which meant food could stay fresh on the move. And don't sleep on tin cans. Yeah, canned food might not sound exciting, but it was revolutionary. It allowed people to store food for way longer, making famines less common. So while Malthus was worried about us running out of food, humans said, "Challenge accepted," and invented a bunch of ways to make sure the pantry stayed stocked. Now here comes Esther Bozerup, basically saying, "Hold up, Malthus, people aren't just helpless." Bozerup argued that population growth actually pushes innovation. When there are more mouths to feed, humans don't just give up, they get creative. New technologies, better farming methods, and smarter systems develop because of the pressure to produce more food. So instead of population causing famine, Bozerup says population causes progress. The more people we have, the more brains working on solutions. In short, she believed humanity always finds a way. All right, time for the Neo-Malthusians. Think of them as Malthus's modern-day fan club, but with a sustainability twist. These folks say, okay, Malthus wasn't totally wrong. They worry that even with all our tech and innovation, the Earth's resources are still limited. We can only stretch them so far before things start breaking down. They point to issues like water shortages, deforestation, desertification, and pollution, basically. Humans using way more than the planet can handle. And yeah, that could lead to famine, starvation, and serious environmental damage. So while Malthus was worried about food, Neo-Malthusians are like, it's not just food anymore, it's everything. All right, y'all, let's wrap this up. So, Thomas Malthus came in hot with his theory that population grows faster than food, which sounds dramatic, but it got people thinking. Later critics like Bozerup said, nah, humans are smart, we'll innovate our way out of trouble. And then, Neo-Malthusians showed up saying, okay, but what if we still run out of stuff? Basically, the big takeaway here is that population growth and resource use are a balancing act. Too much strain and the planet taps out, but with creativity and tech, humans have a shot at keeping things stable. Okay, Brainiacs, it's time for your bonus question. We just explored Malthus's theory, his big idea that population grows faster than food, which could lead to famine and crisis. And we also looked at the criticisms and new theories that came after him. So here's your challenge. Do you think Malthus was right? Or have modern technology and human innovation totally proved him wrong? Use real evidence like farming tech, population trends, or environmental challenges to back up your claim. Go ahead and drop your answer in the comments for a chance to earn a bonus point on your assessment. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button.